Brought to you by the new Faro's Lounge Kickstarter. We're killing it. The Steel Bikini Spectacular #1. We got a Minnie Mouse cover with a frozen Mickey. We've got Sith Leia. Look at that shit, man. Sith Leia, Slave Leia, Frozen Vader, Frozen Emperor. Come on. Who does it better than Faro's Lounge? The best commissions, the best covers, the best interiors. I'm the best comic book fucking producer in the known galaxy and perhaps certain parts of the outer rims. If you don't give a shit about that, Texans, Ravens. I came in 20th fucking place in that goddamn Bills game. I was in third place. Third place! And of course, garbage time did me in. I was in 10th place in that fucking Buccaneers Eagles game. And I thought I had it locked. I just figured he was going to eat the clock, but all of a sudden, uh, it's the garbage time that murdered me in both games. In both games, I had Deontay Johnson and what's his fucking Calvin Austin, which put me all the way into third because Calvin Austin was like 0% owned. Again, remember that six card gets me right into third place. But then Mason Rudolph, he's trying to storm down the fucking field. He throws to everybody except Deontay Johnson and Calvin Austin, thereby knocking me into like 20 just fucking cunts. As for best ball, I won 2 best ball tournaments first place. However, the entire team is made up of fucking Browns and Cowboys. So I'm not sure how well I'm going to do in the second round, considering I have like 3 players on each team. So the quest for more money continues. 50 grand in the pot, 5 grand to first place, another 45,000 to the rest of the losers. Ravens, Texans. I got my water. I got my pen. My license expires tomorrow for medicinal marijuana. I'm going to take a break for like 10 days. I got to rebuild my tolerance. I'm not getting high anymore. I'm sure Snoop Dogg has the same problem. All right, 20 captains. Let's do this shit. Lamar Jackson. What's the problem? Window. What's the fucking window doing now? It's not responding, huh? Is that what we have to fucking do again with the slowest computer? Nico Collins. CJ Stroud. Zay Flowers. Devin Singletary. I'm feeling this could be a lot of old news because the Ravens haven't played in 2 weeks. Gus the Bus. Mark Andrews and I are great. I have Mark Andrews in my fucking best ball lineup. Asshole. Tell me you're coming off IR for the fucking playoffs. Please. Odell Asshole Jr. Dalton Schultz. That's a lot of backup fucking quarterbacks. Justice Hill. We're on to the second tier now. First tier before all the backups. Rashad Chop. Justin Tucker. He's a mean motherfucker. Kaimi Fairburn. The Ravens D. Nelson Aguilar. Who every time I ignore him, the man's in a winning lineup. Every time I use him, the man does shit. There is nothing more frustrating than a player who doesn't show up for you, but shows up for everybody else when you skip him. You want to just like fly to fucking Baltimore, break his goddamn ankles. Robert Woods, Johnny Mechie. Is there one fucking Texans receiver that's actually going to be able to finish the fucking season? Poor G.J. Stroud's going to start throwing the ball to himself. Texans D. Damian Pierce. And the final captain up for consideration. Once again, somebody I ran heavy and did nothing against the Colts. Didn't run at all and ends up bombing one out for a fucking major, like, what is it, an 80-yard fucking touchdown this piece of shit scored? Asshole. Fucking asshole. All right, top card in the deck, Lamar Jackson. Won't play in Saturday's game against the Steelers. This is old fucking news. This is really old news. So it looks like we might be heavy on the Texans here just because of circumstance. Remember, this is a tarot deck. We're throwing the tarot deck onto the table. All these cards are on the table. We want to see what names come up. And if you say to yourself that it's such a stupid system, no problem. Tell me the system you're running because no system of logic ever seems to work in this stupid game we call football. You don't need to get it right on the captain. You need to get it right on the four core players. Fucking take all the risk on a six card, and then you interchange the captains. I play reverse. Sometimes I win. Sometimes I eat a bag of dicks. This new? When was the last time the Ravens played football? They didn't play right. This is wild card week. We just passed wild card week, right? So this was the final game of the season. All right. So anything after the seventh is admissible evidence. The Ravens reverted Mason to the practice squad Monday. Mason played all but one of his 20 snaps on special teams without recording a stat during Week 18's loss to the Steelers. It was his first elevation from the practice squad of the 2023 season. Good for him. That's nothing for nobody. Practice. Yeah, see again, this was the 8th. This guy didn't do shit in the wild card game. Bachman. Gobert. Old news. Jesse Matthews, no news. Hey, fucking Danny Chisner. Signed to the practice squad. In a corresponding transaction, the Ravens cut running back Jake Funk from the practice squad Wednesday. Over 4 games with the Cardinals this season, Chisnia played almost exclusively on special teams. Man's no good to us. Throw the card out in the deck. I mean, the Texans played on fucking Saturday. It's Tuesday. You sit there and tell me there's no relevant news that they didn't get in here today? All right, did we skip anybody? We did Owen Wright, right? J.J. Taylor, Sean Ryan, Owen Wright. You get nothing. Yes. We have to be careful. We must be prudent. Dare Ungupawali. Fortunately, I'm not seeing anybody in the $200 zone that we can particularly use. I always like that. Maybe one $200 player that's of particular promise that we can run. Somebody at the bottom of the fucking deck. Tarek Black. Tyler Ott. Toriano, nothing. No news. Noah Brown, what we got? Placed on injured reserve. He's done. Noah Brown's 2023 season was full of injuries, and the 28-year-old will now be shut down for the remainder of the Texans' postseason run after he sustained the shoulder injury Saturday on the opening drive of Houston's win over Cleveland in the wildcard round. When healthy, Brown was productive with 33, 567, 2-line on 55 targets over 10 appearances during the regular season. But he missed 7 games due to a groin, knee, and back issues. With Brown sidelined for the divisional round, the Texans will lean even more on Robert Woods, John Mechie, Xavier Hutchinson, behind number 1 wideout, Nico Collins. Brown is scheduled to become an unrestricted free agent this offseason after signing a 1-year deal with Houston this past March. Well, I gotta tell you, not performing in the fucking playoffs will suck for that contract. All right, 4 receivers mentioned. Robert Woods is on the board. John Mechie on the board. Xavier Hutchinson on the board. And finally, Nico Collins on the board. Devin Duvernay, full participant at practice Tuesday. Duvernay still technically hasn't been activated from the Ravens' injured reserve list, but it appears he's likely on track to play in the divisional round. Over 13 games this season, he turned 9 targets into 4 catches for 18 yards. However, this man won me 20 grand. So he's always in play at $200. Especially if he's probably back and he's participating. Listen, Devin Duvernay has broken a few fucking slates. So that right now is my $200 fucking man. This guy I wasted a shitload of fucking lineups on. Prick. Active against the Browns. You didn't do anything. It's before the fucking Browns game, so suck a dick. You're not even relevant. Sit there. Stay with the fucking questionable tag. Hang yourself with that fucking Q, you asshole. God, I went heavy on Becky. Did nothing. Oh, God. Just fuck off. Keaton Mitchell. This guy had promise, and now he's done. Tylan Wallace did not participate in practice Tuesday. Wallace played a season-high 24 offensive snaps in the Ravens' regular season finale against the Steelers, and it's not clear when he picked up the knee injury. Either way, he'll need to practice Wednesday or Thursday to have a chance to suit up Saturday. That's what we know right now. We know Devin Duvernay is our $200 man. Let's just mark that down here for the fuck of it. Duvernay. He could be the $200 sleeper, ladies and gentlemen. Charlie Kolar finished the regular season with 7 catches for 87 yards and a touchdown on 9 targets. The second-year tight end started to see more playing time after Mark Andrews' leg injury kept him out from Week 11 onward. Kolar is more proficient as a blocker at this stage of his career than his counterpart, Isaiah Likely, who is starting to break out as a pass catcher. Down the stretch, Kolar averaged 25 snaps per game and caught 6 of 7 targets for 74 yards and a score on 41 routes. With Likely's emergence and Mark Andrews set to return next season, if not sooner, Kolar may be blocked from seeing significant playing time again in 2024. However, if Andrews remains out for the divisional round matchup against the Texans, Kolar could be in line for plenty of snaps. All right, so Andrews might play, so we just got to put him in. Likely is on the board. And as of right now, Andrews is on the board. Next season, if not sooner? What the fuck does that even mean? If he's going to play that? I don't know what's going on. Dalvin Cook's on the fucking Ravens? Cook, who is currently on Baltimore's practice squad, is likely to get an opportunity in the playoffs as the Ravens are dissatisfied in the current state of their running back room. Jeez. Gus Edwards, Justice Hill, and Melvin Gordon have posted underwhelming numbers recently, averaging a combined 4 yards per carry in recent games. Edwards has also fumbled in each of the last 2 games, and Gordon added to his extensive history of fumbling in Baltimore's regular season finale. The situation is ripe for Cook to take on a larger role in the postseason, but whether he can take advantage of that opportunity is a different matter, as Cook averaged a paltry 3.2 yards per carry without a touchdown in 15 appearances for the Jets prior to being waived and eventually winding up on Baltimore's practice squad. So they're not happy with the running backs. That ain't good. Edwards on the board. Justice Hill on the board. Melvin Gordon III on the board, but I don't think he's playing. Dalvin Cook. So they said he's elevated, huh? Is likely to get enough. See, this guy, again, well, 1,200, it's not like he's a sleeper price. If he should pop the fuck up, then maybe. We're not getting the captain territory just yet. We're almost there. Xavier Hutchinson caught both of his targets 12 yards in Saturday's wild-card playoff win over the Browns. Hutchinson received elevated snap counts over the final 5 weeks of the season due to injuries at wideout, but he slipped back to 20 snaps in the playoff win. That was because Robert Woods and Noah Brown returned from injuries. However, Brown left Saturday's game with a shoulder injury, and Woods played fewer snaps than Hutchinson. Wideout availability for this week's matchup will be determined over the course of the week. The Texans will be on the road against Baltimore Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Woods, Brown. That's it, just Woods and Brown. All right. That's 2 for Woods. And Brown's not playing. Will this be the day? 10-2 over the Dolphins? No, it's old fucking news. And now, possible captain consideration. Brevin Jordan caught his lone target for a 76-yard touchdown in Saturday's wildcard win over the Browns. Jordan turned in a harmless pass in the flat into the game's longest play, and what turned out to be a game-winning score. He's played the second fiddle to Dalton Schultz all season, but Jordan is considered the better athlete and capable of breaking away from pursuit as he did on the touchdown. He played 50% of the snaps and provided a threat behind a wideout core that dealt with injuries. Noah Brown was removed from the game with a shoulder injury, while Robert Woods returned from a hip issue. That's one for Schultz on the board. And that's three. Three for Robert Woods. And Brevin Jordan, I would say, can keep his captain's chair. He breaks another fucking thing, you could fill that fucking lineup up with better players. All he has to do is break one win. That was 14 fucking points, plus 7 points if he's a captain. It's 21 points a captain. You jack up the rest of that fucking lineup with some expensive motherfuckers. Pierce had 3 carries for 0 yards and played 6 snaps on offense in Saturday's wildcard playoff victory over Cleveland. 2 of Pierce's 3 carries came in the fourth quarter when the game was long settled and Davis Mills had replaced C.J. Stroud. The backup running back did not have a kickoff return, which has been his primary contribution the last 3 weeks. The one kick return Houston had was by Dare Ogunbowale. Well. Davis Mills is on the board. C.J. Stroud is on the board. Dare Ogunbowale is on the board. Dameon Pierce is doing shit. So I'm thinking we're going to pull Pierce from the captain consideration. So we got one open lineup for a possible double. Where are we at? Texans D, Johnny Mechie. John Mechie was a limited practice participant Tuesday due to a foot injury. Mechie took 76% of the snaps on offense in Saturday's win over Cleveland, with he and Xavier Hutchinson taking on the larger-than-usual roles after Noah Brown suffered a season-ending shoulder injury on the opening drive. Assuming the foot issue isn't serious, Mechie could handle a similar role Saturday at Baltimore, though it's also possible Robert Woods takes on more snaps after seemingly being limited by an injury of his own in the playoff opener. Hutchinson, Brown ain't playing Woods. All right? That is 4 for Robert Woods. That is 2 for Xavier Hutchinson. Speak of the devil. Robert Woods was a limited practice participant Tuesday. An early report suggested Woods was held out of practice but wasn't in danger of missing Saturday's game in Baltimore. It turns out he was limited participant. He could have a bigger role this week after ranking just 4th among Houston's wide receivers in snaps during Saturday's win over Cleveland. Noah Brown suffered a season-ending shoulder injury in the first quarter, and it was mostly John Mechie and Xavier Hutchinson who took on extra snaps, perhaps because Woods was still bothered by the hip injury that held him out Week 18 and had him listed as questionable for the wild card round. So Mechie and Hutch. 3 for Hutchinson, 2 for Mechie. Oddly enough, not a lot of mentions of Nico Collins. Can we go with the idea that maybe Nico Collins gets taken out of the game by Baltimore's superior defense? Speaking of pricks, Nelson Aguilar finished the regular season with 35 catches for 381 yards and 4 touchdowns on 45 targets. The veteran was a reliable target for the Ravens' passing game as he notched a strong 78% catch rate over 45 target sample. Aguilar was primarily used on short and intermediate routes, as evidenced by his 8.8 ADOT. He also had a low target per route percentage of 13.1, which ranked in the 17th percentile among receivers. In fairness, Baltimore had plenty of mouths to feed with the likes of Zay Flowers, Odell Beckham, Mark Andrews, and Rashad Bateman all in the fold. Aguilar signed with Baltimore as a free agent in 2023 on a 1-year deal, so his future with the team is uncertain beyond the season. He projects to have a similar role if he returns next season, but the 30-year-old could opt to hit the market in hopes of landing with a team that will feature him more. Aguilar's season is not yet finished, though, as the Ravens host the Texans in the divisional round on Saturday. We got a lot of names here. 4 names. Oddly enough, no mention of Lamar. Zay Flowers on the board. Odell Beckham, old dirty bastards on the board. That's 2 for Mark Andrews. And Rashad Bateman is on the board. Ravens D, Kaimi Fairburn. That is Colts news. That is old news, but Kaimi's reliable enough. He gets a captain's chair. Justin Tucker finished the regular season going 32 of 37 on field goal tries and 51 of 52 on extra points. He converted just 1 of 5 attempts from beyond 50 yards. It was another strong season from Tucker, who was nearly automatic from inside of 50 yards. He wasn't as prolific from long range as in the years past, such as his 9 makes from the 50 plus in 2022 on 14 attempts. Still, the 32-year-old veteran finished as the number 3 fantasy kicker for the second consecutive year. Tucker and the Ravens will begin their playoff journey Saturday against the Texans. Well, Tucker, he's a beast. He gets a captain's chair. Rashad Bateman. Yep, this is relevant. Rashad Bateman was not targeted on 27 snaps in Saturday's loss to the Steelers. With Tyler Huntley in at quarterback and Lamar Jackson resting for the postseason, Baltimore's passing game was always going to look different in Week 18. That proved to be true as running back Justice Hill led the team with twice as many targets as any other Baltimore pass catcher. Huntley averages just 6.1 yards downfield on his throws, while Bateman's average depth of target checks in at 14.1 yards. So his routes were not run in areas of the field that Huntley often looks to throw. Prior to Week 18, Bateman had averaged 5 targets per game over his last 5 outings, catching 12 of them for 152 yards and no touchdowns. Bateman and the Ravens will be idle this week before returning to action in the divisional round. What we got here? Lamar and Huntley. That's it. Oh, and Justice Hill. Lamar is on the board. Tyler Huntley is on the board. And that's 2 for Mr. Justice Hill. Now we get into backup territory. No, we don't, because we read about Justice Hill. We didn't get Justice Hill. See, that's why I make that mistake, Tom. No, yeah, we're up to Justice Hill. Hill caught 3 of 10 targets, 26 yards in Saturday's loss to the Steelers. Hill did not factor into the carry rotation Saturday, but did lead the team in targets in what was an anomalous game for the Ravens with Tyler Huntley at quarterback. In weeks 16 and 17, Hill commanded a 22% rushing share in the wake of Keaton Mitchell's season-ending injury. Hill has been active in the passing game throughout the season, and that should continue when the Ravens return to action in the divisional round, with his rushing usage has been sporadic all year as well. Gus Edwards projects to be the first in line for carries during the postseason, but Hill could still be a fantasy factor, with a small rushing workload to go with his passing game role. All right, Huntley. Keaton Mitchell is injured, and Gus Edwards. That is 2 for Huntley. 2 for Gus the Bus. Now we get into the backup. Tim fucking Boyle landing on his feet. Somehow Tim Boyle, this piece of shit, he'll end up with a Super Bowl ring from the Texans. Old news, old news. Anything on Huntley? Yeah, shit. Huntley completed 15 of 28 pass attempts for 146 yards and a touchdown while rushing for 40 yards on 8 attempts in Saturday's loss to the Steelers. The veteran backup made his first start of the season with the AFC's number 1 seed, opting to rest superstar quarterback Lamar Jackson for an unconsequential Week 18 matchup. Huntley was harassed in the pocket by T.J. Watt and company to the tune of 4 sacks for a combined loss of 28 yards. Huntley wound up throwing to the Ravens' only touchdown in Saturday's defeat, adding 40 rushing yards with no turnovers to produce a modest fantasy score. The 26-year-old will report back to the sidelines when Jackson starts for Baltimore in the AFC divisional round. 2 for Lamar. That's Huntley. So what we got? All right. And the final runs. Case Keenum. Inactive against the Browns. That's old news. Josh Johnson, old news. Dalton Schultz recorded 1 catch on 2 targets for 37 yards and a touchdown in Saturday's win over the Browns. Schultz had a limited role in the offense as he matched his lowest target total in any game of the regular season. He had a drop early in the first quarter but redeemed himself with a long 37-yard touchdown reception just before halftime. The Texans held a 3-score lead for much of the final 2 quarters, limiting passing volume for the entire team. He should have had a chance to be more involved in Houston's divisional round matchup. Old dirty bastard will sit out versus the Steelers. Nah, it's old news. Isaiah Likely hauled in both of his targets for 31 yards and a touchdown And Saturday's loss to the Ravens means the Steelers, I'm assuming. Typo. Likely continued his recent tear with a 27-yard catch in the second quarter for his fifth touchdown over the last 5 contests. The late season standout produced his best fantasy line for Baltimore despite just 2 targets in the loss to Pittsburgh. Likely has generated 17 receptions off 20 targets with 282 yards and 5 scores while replacing injured starter Mark Andrews. The latter is still eyeing a potential return from IR during the Ravens' upcoming playoff run, which will begin either January 20th or 21st for the AFC divisional playoffs. Likely has proven in recent weeks that he can produce usable fantasy numbers on low target totals, but he would still take a considerable hit in value if and when Andrews returns. That's 3 for Andrews. Anybody else mentioned? No. Speak of the devil. Mark Andrews, limited practice participant Tuesday. Andrews returned to practice Friday and seems to be getting a real chance to show the Ravens he's ready to play this Saturday against Houston. His availability for this weekend remains highly uncertain given the severity of the injury he suffered in November. But the tight end at least seems on track to be ready for the conference championship game or Super Bowl if the Ravens make it that far. Isaiah likely has filled in admirably since Andrews suffered a fractured fibula and ankle ligament injury November 16th, catching 5 touchdown passes in 6 games while averaging 3.5 catches for 53 yards on 4.7 targets. Even so, a healthy Andrews is much more of a threat to command targets and defensive attention. That's 2 for likely. Andrews. Now let me see. If you put Andrews in and he ends up getting pulled, likely is pretty much just $400 under. If we end up running Andrews in these lineups, at least we know that if we have to pull him, you just put likely right in there. Just something to think about. Right now, he's the leading vote getter for the Ravens. Edwards rushed 10 times for 48 yards with a lost fumble and was not targeted as a receiver in Sunday's loss to Pittsburgh. Edwards performed well on a per-carry basis, but his fantasy line suffered from a lack of touchdowns coupled with a fumble in the fourth quarter of Saturday's loss. Backup Melvin Gordon also coughed up the rock earlier in the contest, giving both teams 2 turnovers on 8 combined loose balls in slick conditions at M&T Bank Stadium. Edwards' 10 carries finished ahead of the aforementioned Gordon and Justice Hill, putting the veteran Edwards on track to lead the Ravens backfield committee in the AFC divisional round. That is 2 for MG3. That is 3 for Justice Hill. Devin Singletary rushed the ball 13 times for 66 yards and a touchdown in Saturday's win over the Browns. He added 3 receptions on 3 targets for 4 yards. The Texans relied on C.J. Stroud for their scoring in the first half, as the rookie quarterback had 3 touchdowns. That combined with a tough matchup against the Browns' run defense limited Singletary's production for most of the game. Even though he outtouched Dameon Pierce 16-3, the former managed to tack on Houston's final score of the day. Singletary will continue to lead the team's backfield in the divisional round, though the offense is likely to run through Stroud once again. The Browns' run defense limited Singletary's production for much of the game, even though he outtouched Dameon Pierce 16-3. The former, which is managed to salvage his performance. Yeah, 19. Okay. That's a mention for Pierce. Singletary did get his points in there. Zay Flowers. Limited practice participant Tuesday. It's his first official practice participation since Week 17. But that might have not been the case if the Ravens had played a meaningful game Week 18 or been part of the wild card round this past weekend. Flowers should be ready for Saturday's game against Houston. And it's worth noting that he played through the same calf injury Week 17 and caught 3 passes for 106 yards and a touchdown in the 56-19 win over the Dolphins, though he did play fewer snaps than usual even before the game became a blowout. Zay fucking Flowers. C.J. Stroud completed 16 of 21 passes for 274 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions in Saturday's win over the Browns. Stroud was impressive in his playoff debut, particularly considering the Browns allowed only 164 passing yards to opponents during the regular season. Really? Shit. He connected on 5 passes of more than 20 yards, highlighted by 76 and 30-yard, 7-yard touchdown passes. The only thing that slowed him down was the context of the game, as the Texans built up a 3-score lead midway through the third quarter. As a result, Stroud attempted only 5 passes in the second half and was pulled on Houston's first offensive possession of the second half. He and the team will now await the results of the rest of the wildcard games to find out their opponent in the divisional round. Stroud. Impressive in his playoff debut. And finally, Nico Collins. Recorded 6 catches on 7 targets for 96 yards and a touchdown in Saturday's win over the Browns. Collins was the clear leader of the Texans' receiving corps, as Noah Brown was forced out of the game early and did not return. Collins returned to show impressive rapport with C.J. Stroud, as the duo connected on long gains of 38 and 21 yards in addition to a 15-yard touchdown. He narrowly missed out on a bigger day, as Stroud overthrew him when he broke behind the Cleveland defense midway through the second quarter for what would have been a 59-yard touchdown. Regardless, it was an impressive performance, and Collins will continue to lead Houston's receiving corps in the divisional round matchup. That's 2 for Stroud. Let's count the votes. Robert Woods got 4. Mechie has 2. Hutchinson has 3. Collins, Schultz, Mills, Ogunbowale, Pierce all 1. CJ Stroud has 2. On the other side, Isaiah Likely has 2. Andrews has 3. Gus Edwards 2. Justice Hill 3. MG 3. 2. Zay Flowers, Old Dirty Bastard, Bateman, Lamar 2. Huntley 2. A lot of fucking 2s. You know what happens? When there's too many 2s, they cancel each other out. So get rid of MG3, get rid of Lamar, get rid of Huntley, Edwards, Likely, Mechie, Stroud. I know what you're saying. Are you out of your fucking mind? Just bear with me right now. Woods is a 4, Hutchinson's a 3, Andrews is a 3, Hill's a 3. That's the 4 we're putting in as the core. I know you're saying I'm crazy, and I might be crazy. But I've won and lost enough fucking times to know that it makes no sense. You'll run the shit out of Collins, he'll do nothing. So we have him in a captain in at least one lineup. If he does do something and the core is strong below him, then we win the fucking money. So what do we got here? Woods, Hutchinson, Andrews, and Hill. Andrews, Hill, Woods, Hutchinson. Now you got Lamar up top. We got $12,900 left, which means we take either Collins or Stroud. Now we're going to do Collins in this one. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have an extra lineup here to put Lamar in along with Stroud. Andrews, which again, if Andrews doesn't play, we slip Likely right in there. Woods, Hill, where is Hutchinson? Right? Am I correct here? Yes. Now we got $2,300 left over. If we do it this way, right? Let's say we want to keep Woods and lose Hutchinson. Make Hutchinson, right now he's looking like our 6 card, right? He steps up because they're talking about Noah Brown was mentioned 45 fucking times. Oh, this is a crazy lineup because again, you got 3 fucking receivers in here. If you wanted to drop Hutchinson, was there a better option? There's Aguilar. Oh, fuck me. Aguilar. Ooh, damn. Oh, damn. The money says Aguilar. The tarot cards say Hutchinson. A $60 life lesson or a $5,000 haul? All right, again. If we cut Hutchinson here, what are our options? Ravens D. Nope, I'm going to fight the temptation, stick with Hutch. If I lose Justice Hill, what do I got? Can I trade Justice Hill for something better? Likely and Andrews together makes no fucking sense. Schultz, he can underperform, whereas fucking Hill could show up. Just the fact that there's money on the fucking table already makes it contrarian. We're treating Hutchinson like the 6 card right now. However, that could all change. Do this. Andrews, Hill, Woods, Hutch. Now again, you got endless money here. So right off the bat, top card in the deck, we want Lamar. We want the MVP. Now again, let's tinker around here. We trade Hutch in for Fairburn, the kicker. Possible. We're keeping Woods because he's a 4. We're keeping Andrews because he's a well, those are all 3s. We're going to keep Woods. What about Hill? We trade in Hill for somebody better. Hill for Singletary. So you're trying to switch here. Or even upgrade from Hill to Edwards. Hill's got the fucking numbers. He's got better numbers, man. Look at all those big fucking games from Edwards. He's leading the backfield, they say. Justice fucking Hill. Had that big game against Miami. But a lot of shit games. A lot of shit games. Do we want to flip the fucking same position, flip the team? It's like flipping the suit of the card. Or we want to upgrade to Gus? We're going to upgrade to Gus. Could bite us in the ass. Strood. All right, do it. Andrews. Hill. Woods. Hutch. We know automatically we'll have the most money, so we're going to go right for Lamar. Go for the MVP. Now, again, we upgrade from Hutch to what? Hutch, we can get all the way up to Bateman, Tucker. Hard to go against Tucker. Yeah, we're taking Tucker. Tucker scores like 400 fucking points a game. Although Hutch, you know what? Stroud's a quarterback. He's hitting Hutch. Fucking yeah. You gotta throw what you think is the logical fucking lineup out the window. It doesn't work that fucking way. Get Tucker out. Get Hutch back in that fucking thing. Stop pulling Hutch. For some reason, Hutch is gonna come up big in this fucking game. Hill, I feel like, is the more expendable one. Oh, it keeps coming down to Gus or Singletary. It's like the tarot cards are trying to say that Nico's getting taken out of this fucking game. Remember, this is a lot of fucking players you're up against. You gotta be contrarian. Oh, god damn it. All right, we did it. We put in Hutch. Zay Flowers, we know that we're gonna get the top card in here, so we'll get Lamar. He's the top card. Andrews, Hill, Woods. You take it all the way down. And you got 67, which means you can either grow Hutch or Beckham. Fuck Beckham. Going Hutch. Now again, Woods might not play. Andrews might not play. So that money we have left over, instead of just going sliding right into fucking likely, we can upgrade from Woods. These are our placement lineups right now. So we know we'll get Lamar. Andrews. Hill. Woods. Leaving us up to 79. Let's just keep going to tempt ourselves. Fuck likely. Stick it down with Hutch. Remember, Negative $60 or it's positive 5 grand if Hutch goes off. Gus the Bus. Give Lamar, Andrews, Hill, Woods. What do we got? 82 left. What can we get for 82? Still goes up to likely. I'm going to stick with Hutch. Once in my life, I'd like to stay contrarian. As a matter of fact, where's that fucking Edwards lineup? This one right here. We're going back to fucking Justice Hill. That's how fucking psycho I am. Fucking psycho like that. I'm leaving that fucking money on the table. I'm taking fucking Justice Hill over Gus the Bus. Playing the numbers. Playing the cards. Give Lamar. Mark. Justice. Robert. Till you give me a bet. Ooh, 10 fucking grand. Yeah, I think we're trading out Hutch here. Hutch for Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers is fucking questionable. He might not do dick. We're sticking with Hutch. Poor Stroud's gonna have to throw this fucking ball. Odell Beckham Jr. Give him Lamar. Mark Andrews. Justice Hill. Robert fucking Woods. Leaving us 10-9. What can we get for 10-9? 10-9, you go all the way up to fucking Nico or fucking Stroud. Which one do you want? Gotta go top card, man. Fucking Nicodopoulos, man. Although Stroud's the beast. I want to take Stroud over Nico there. Where's that lineup? Odell. Give me fucking Stroud. Although they might get the Stroud, man. I mean, is this one of these situations where we just take the top fucking card? What if we just do both? We sacrifice somebody. Yes. Yes. Keep Nico in this one. Someone's going out. Although, no, we're going to have this problem every time because essentially it's the top card in the deck. We're going to have usually this problem with every card. Is the rule top card? I feel like they're all these other guys with twos. They cancel each other out. Collins is the other top card, but we took Lamar to one because Lamar is the top card. You take the top card in the deck. You take the top card in the deck. I mean, who do we like here? We like the Ravens defense getting the Stroud enough. And Stroud has the ball in his hands, whereas Nico's got to get the ball thrown to him by Stroud. Let's go fucking Stroud. Take the quarterback. Take the quarterback. Double quarterback it. Double quarterback it. There you go. Lamar, Stroud, Andrews, Hill, Woods. Boom. What we're hoping for is a nice fucking Stroud to Woods handcuff. Now, again, if Woods is not going to play, we easily pull him, and we have a lot of money left over in every one of these fucking lineups. Ooh, now we got Justice here, so now we got Jackson. First, let's see what's left over afterwards. We got Andrews. Usually we take Hill, so now we'll have Woods and Hutch. With a lot of goddamn money left over. For Stroud, can we get Nico? We trade out Woods for Nico. I say we do one with him and one fucking without. Actually, no, that only gets me 98. That only gets me 98. You cut Hutch, all you're getting up there is the likely. We're keeping the motherfucker then. $6 grand to leave it on the fucking table. Ay, ay, ay. That's what happens. You play this long enough, you have to play so fucking contrarian that you just confuse yourself. It's David Stroud, Andrews, Hill, Woods. Tucker, mean motherfucker, along with Jackson, Stroud, Andrews, Hill, Woods. I know it feels weird because you never feel comfortable leaving money on the table. You always feel like you're cheating yourself, but you're not. You're just trying to go for a narrative here. Well, double quarterback, Andrews, Hill, Woods. So we're still leaving money on the table here. Ravens D. We definitely don't need Stroud here. Andrews, Hill, Woods. Let's see, who do we want? This is more of a Nico here. This would be a Nico. Because the idea if the Ravens D's kicking some ass, that means Stroud's getting the shit kicked out of him. Maybe Nico breaks away for a big one. Aguilar, Jackson, Andrews, Stroud, Hill, and Woods. Leaving a lot of money on the table in these here lineups. Woods at the captain. All right. So Jackson, Stroud, Andrews, Hill. 87 left over. What are we going to do? You got Hill in there. You can go Thunder and Lightning. Or we can count on fucking Singletary to maybe get some shit done in this game. He surprised everybody getting around that ball, that fucking Browns D. Can he do it again? Johnny Mechie. Is John Mechie really worth the fucking captain's chair? Texans and Brevin fucking Jordan. All right. Craziest shit has happened. Jackson, Stroud. Essentially, the only way I can win money is if Nico Collins is taken out of this fucking game. With Mechie a captain, we're going to pull Woods and go Singletary here. Some of these later captains. Just to give me a pivot off of Woods just in case. Texans D, so we'll pull Jackson out of that one, go Collins and Stroud. Along with Andrews, Hill. We don't need Woods. So again, we're going Singletary here. Grind the ball down. All right. Brevin fucking Jordan. Jackson, Stroud, Andrews, Hill, and I believe we got enough for, not enough for Collins. I say again, we go Singletary. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. 20 lineups, a lot of Robert Woods. Should he end up playing this game right now? He's got the cube tag, but again, he came up 4 fucking times in these readings. He came up the most. We left him out of the last 3 lineups to try and take advantage to see if there's a little bit of a pivot. So let fate and fate decide your fortune if you should win. Blow your money right here on the new Faro's Lounge Kickstarter. Look at that shit. Heading towards 26 grand. Oh man, could buy a lot of porn with that shit. So, peace, love, war.